heavy,
bored.
There's a couple things I want to point out here. When we talk about the composition of the workshop and kind of when a workshop goes south, a workshop goes south because of the workshop leader, the instructor, a lot of times the tenured professor that is leading the workshop. They are the sole authority in the workshop, and that's the bottom line. Now, this is all wrapped up into kind of workshop culture, academic spaces as well, but there is a kind of common thread in the pedagogy that is coming out of academia right now, particularly around writing instruction, because most of it is evidence-based, by the way. But there's this continuing trend towards what they call student-centered learning, and this is baked into the pedagogy. If you pick up any of the good, like the big pedagogy books written in the last 25 years, they're talking about this kind of made-up bullshit where they say it should be student-centered and not instructor-centered. That's not true for workshops. That's not true. I had a lot of instructors that would say things like, well, it's really about your peers in the class, but it isn't really about the peers in the class. I get what they're saying, that the peers in the class do most of the work of a workshop, but that is, I think, shrugging off the responsibility of an instructor in the room. The instructor is the law. The instructor stops something from going too terribly. The instructor stops people from berating another student. Although nowadays, I've heard many horror stories from friends, usually in person at a bar when they tell me this, where the instructor joins in on dogpiling somebody in the workshop because they turned in something that someone accused them of misogyny, they accused them of some ism, some social media swarm style instruction. So that's what that's becoming. So there's that. It's always up to the instructor. It's always up to the instructor. And there's this trend in pedagogy that wants to diminish instructors' expertise. There's a trend in hiring, as I previously discussed, that wants to completely eliminate the expertise of the entire field. They want to destroy the canon, the thing that has spent hundreds of years building, refining, adding, all this stuff. They want to destroy it, therefore undermining the authority of a professor of English, right? That's what they want to do. That is the stated goal. It is stated in the hiring practices. It is stated in the job descriptions. They want to hire you to undermine your own authority. And this is the case with the pedagogy. So an instructor would read a pedagogy book, and the pedagogy book is instructing them to undermine their own authority in the classroom, pretending that these amateurs sitting around the table who have all paid to be there at an MFA PhD program level, these people have been handpicked, usually by the instructor, right, to come sit around this table and work with this instructor. The instructor giving up their authority in that role will never benefit the workshop, will never help people achieve what they're going for, what they're trying to do with their work. Like I said, I've heard stories where literally the instructor will single out people, not anonymously, like by name, and just berate them in a struggle session, so that a lot of workshops become struggle sessions. Particularly, like I said, one example is if you're a man writing about male sexuality. You will always be hit over the head with that bat. They will pull it out. Somebody will pull it out. Somebody who's, 20-some years old, probably never had sex in their life, is going to tell you that you're misogynist, that you're not, that you're degrading women, reducing them to sexual objects, so you're not allowed to find women sexy, right? All of this. It is baked into the cake. And the instructor will usually allow it, which is a problem with the instructor. So there's that, right? That's one aspect.
Inner.
resources, American resources.
Being bored?
Some activities are intentional, right?
It shows such a lack of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.